Hello everybody, good morning. In the previous video that I did on the topic of flat price, accrued interest and full price, I said very early on in that recording that this is a difficult thing to compute, and if you don't have the time in the exam, stay clear of these types of questions. Well, I was wrong, as was pointed out to me in the comments. Thanks for that. It was a very valuable comment to receive, because there is of course the possibility to compute all these things using your calculator, your Texas Instruments calculator. So we're going to do that now, utilizing the functionality of the bond worksheet in your calculator. So we're going to tackle the same question, but this time try to do it much quicker. Of course, me talking about it will make it a bit longer. Nevertheless, you'll appreciate how quick and convenient this method is. First, before we do any computations in the bond worksheet, I just want you to access the format menu. You do this by pressing second, followed by the dot key at the bottom of the decimal point key at the bottom of your calculator keys in that bottom row, because that gives us access to the formatting functionalities. So I'm going to do this now. Let me just start the recording on my calculator. Good. Right, so here it is. Let me do that again. Second, followed by the decimal point or format. Here we go. We see my number of decimal places is set to the floating 9, and I'm moving with the down arrows. Okay, to where I see the date convention, it says US 12/31/1990. This is important because it tells me how I should be inputting the dates. The month first, followed by the day of the week, and then the year, which is the sort of the convention in the United States. If you ever want to switch that, there's the alternative to change to a European system. You do second followed by the enter key. Enter has set above it, and this is how you make the change. So I did second, now enter. As you can see, I've got the European format, but I'm going to go back. So once again, second followed by the enter key to the US format, because that's okay for my for the problem that I want to do, or I'm used to this convention anyway. Good. Right, so here's the question, and we're going to use the data contained in it to make inputs into the bond worksheet. You'll see bond is the secondary function of the digit 9. So you press second 9 to access the bond worksheet. And when I do so, I see the default SDT equals to the 31st of December 1990. So SDT is the settlement date. And we want to make this the 15th of June 2024, hence, because that is the settlement date for our problem here. Now, it's very, if you don't know how to do this, this is difficult to kind of think about how can I input the date, and you know, don't bother trying to come up with this on your own. Because we've got the American date convention, we have to start with the month, June, that's the 6th month of the year, then the day 15th and 2024. And what you need to do now is type in, well, 6 followed by a dot, then 15, that's going to be our month, and then just simply 24. Don't try to do 2024, just do this 6.1524 and press the enter key. Okay, as you can see, my calculator has accepted that the settlement date is indeed June the 15th, 2024. Brilliant. Scroll down with the arrows at the top. Next one they ask you about is the coupon. Now for the coupon, please make this simply 8%. The bond worksheet understands that things are with bonds are quoted in annualized terms, so here you just provide them with 8, and you do, well, you enter 8 followed by the enter key. Okay, good, that's accepted. Now, RDT That's going to be the maturity date, the redemption date. So we need to make this the 15th of March 2030. Okay, 15th of March 2030. So once again, think about how to put this in. Third day of the month, followed by the dot, 15 and 30 to make it 2030. Follow this up with enter, and you can, well, my calculator's got it. It's the March 15th, 2030, and then I'm pressing, I'm constantly pressing the down arrow right between this. RV, that's going to be your face value, your redemption value, your principal value, and we are assuming what a per 100 of par value, so that's absolutely fine. And now the date conventions. So okay, redemption value was 100. Right now it says actual. I want to change that to 360, the assumption that a year has 360 days in it, and therefore a month has 30 days in it. So I'm going to press second followed by set. If you look closely at your display, it has a little set written at the top, and that means you can change this setting by utilizing the set function, and the set function is the secondary, sorry, this shouldn't say set. This should actually say enter, because set is the secondary function of enter, and I can change to 360, or I can go back to actual. The way I'm doing is by pressing second followed by enter, and I can just toggle between them. Well, I want it to be 360 for this problem, in fact. Okay, that's good. And right, the next thing is how many coupons there are per year. Currently it says 2 per year, which is fine. You could once again toggle between this and annual once per year by doing second enter, utilizing the set function. I want to leave it at this. Phew. And the yield. There's a lot of stuff to input. The yield is 7%. That's our required rate of return. And once again, don't scale this down to a semi-annual period. Just input this as 7. No percentages, 7. Right. Your calculator now on the display says I'm ready to compute. I can do this now. So press compute. Oh, sorry. Back to 7. Now go down. I pressed compute too early. Where it says PRI and now compute. So press the CPT key. Okay, good. And you will see PRI, that's the price being displayed as 104.65. Well, this is going to be your clean price or your flat price. Let's, if you check that back with what we did in the previous question, that was indeed our clean price or our flat price. If I scroll down again, you will see AI, that's accrued interest, and they tell you, well, it's 2. Now remember distinctly that it was 2 from the solution to the previous question, or the same question that we solved longhand. It will even calculate for you the duration of the bond, which is not something we're dealing with in this question. But look, in order to get the full price for the bond, we just need to add these two components, and we'll arrive at 106.65. And that will, once again, produce the answer B. There's a lot of inputs to make here, but hopefully you can see how this method can be used much more quickly than the longhand method. Although I still like that one. You should still appreciate what your calculator does in the background. It does what we did in the previous question. Up to you which method you decide to utilize. Well, this one is surely taking care of the day counting for you, so probably it's the one you're going to go for in the exam.